Just a quick reminder before we jump in. Everything we share here is personal and subjective and meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We reflect on patterns and dynamics from our lives, research, and what we've learned from our work. But this isn't professional advice or a substitute for therapy. When we mention people like family, friends, or exes, those references are intentionally vague or altered to protect privacy and don't reflect every person in our lives who fits those labels. Our goal is to support healing, not blame. Please check the full disclaimer in the show notes for more information.
Welcome to Self-Centered, the podcast that's all about you. We're your hosts.
I'm Allie, a therapist and life coach.
And I'm Katie, a fitness coach and personal trainer. We know what it's like to feel burnt out, taken for granted, and like your life revolves around everyone but yourself.
By learning to trust yourself, prioritize your needs, and set healthy boundaries, we help you break free from guilt, overfunctioning, and toxic patterns that keep you stuck in relationships and a life that doesn't truly serve you.
Join us each week as we dive into the tools, stories, and mindset shifts you need to create a life that centers you.
Because being self-centered isn't selfish, it's essential. Before we begin today's episode, I want to acknowledge something important. This conversation was recorded from a place of personal discovery. And in it, I share my experience of realizing that I'm bisexual and reflecting on how heteronormativity shaped my understanding of myself and blinded me from my ability to see that. We've since learned that some parts of this discussion, which you're about to hear, lacked context and were detached from the history and the lived experience of the queer community, which is really important. If you're listening as someone who identifies within that community, please know that our intent was never to speak for anyone, but to explore our own learning process. And in this episode, specifically my own learning process. And we are continuing to grow in how we approach these conversations with more care, context, and humility. We also want to thank those who offered feedback. We are so grateful. We want to reflect on these things. We want to be learning. We want to know better so we can do better. We are also so grateful to the people and the movements, past and present, who have made it possible for us to explore our identities safely and openly. So thank you. This episode is specific, very niche, specific to me realizing something about my sexuality. And right now in my life, I feel like I'm in the middle of this like spiritual up level, this evolutionary developmental leap or something, because with my hormones being treated, this week was insane for me. Like
good insane?
No,
bad. Oh.
But it's good that it was bad because, okay, I'm going to explain. Everybody stick with me. So the reason that it's good that it was bad, let me tell you why it was bad first. I didn't sleep for like 3 nights, partially because of things blowing up in my life that I had to deal with, partially having to do with Bug getting sick. So Bug went to the referral vet, got her ultrasound, got blood tests. We're still waiting for the results to come back. They think she might have Addison's disease, which is great because it's super treatable, like super easy to treat.
Bug is Allie's dog, friends.
Bug is Allie's dog. Context. So that's great. But then the vet was also like, oh, and here's this like prescription diet. Let's see how she does on it. So I give her literally like a teaspoon of it with her normal homemade baked chicken and pumpkin that she's on. Like she gets these home cooked meals now. And she gets 5 pounds of chicken a day. Isn't that insane? That's what the vet...
5 pounds?
5 cups. That's different than that.
That's still a lot, but wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not cheap. So anyway, so I make her gourmet from scratch meal, and then I add a teaspoon of this prescription diet, and she's up vomiting all freaking night. And that was like after 2 nights of me not sleeping and having such rough days. Oh yeah. And then I had a therapy session today, me being the client. And Y'all, like this psychodynamic therapy. So I've done AEDP. It's a type of psychodynamic therapy, but as a client, I'm doing ISTDP. So many letters, which
So
is
many acronyms.
intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy, I'm pretty sure. So if you've listened to the ego episodes, you know about defense mechanisms, and like all the things that we taught you in those ego episodes is like 101 of just defense mechanisms. It's not even teaching you about all these other psychodynamic subconscious things that can happen. So this therapy really helps you get to what's going on underneath that you're not aware of. And today I was sobbing in the session. It was so good though, because literally we figured out, and by we, I mean the therapist. I mean, yeah, I was participating, but really him, because when it's subconscious, you don't have the perspective on it. And he's blowing my mind and I'm crying. It just made me realize how I've really been feeling and how things have really impacted me, just based on experiences in my life, and then how that's impacted my relationships now. And it was so sad to realize all that. And then grief for my dad, who passed 5 years ago, came up. And even though it was so unexpected and surprising, and I realized that I've been really struggling more than I realize, and it's been because of me. The way that these subconscious things are playing out in my life is impacting why I haven't found a healthy relationship. It's actually because of me. It's because I haven't been emotionally available. So I go for people who are emotionally unavailable.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then I'm in the relationship and then I get safe. I feel safe. And I'm like, oh, I could be vulnerable. And then I'm like, then we break up because they can't be emotionally available, but I picked them because they're emotionally unavailable, because then I don't have to feel like threatened that I have to go there. So anyway, the reason that I'm starting with that is because this episode, yes, is about sexuality and me also being like, whoa, holy shit, didn't know that. But in general, selfies, it's about these cultural scripts or, these things that we're not even conscious of that are going on inside of us, that because of these cultural scripts or because of defense mechanisms and trauma and your brain trying to protect you from it by shielding you from awareness, how important it is to actually recognize all that, and that we want to kind of remove some of the shame around it too, that it's okay that you figure these things out. We're not going to know everything about ourselves. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so anyway, the reason that it's good that it was bad is because since I started these hormonal treatments, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Like I have not had a migraine since starting the hormonal treatments.
When did you start them?
2 weeks ago. So
yeah.
I still have my luteal and my menstrual phase to get through, which are the because of the hormone changes in those phases. Those are when I get my worst migraines. So I'm like cautiously optimistic. We'll see. It's only been 2 weeks and apparently it just gets better over time.
I love that. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So that's what I mean. There's all these things shifting. Like I'm realizing all these things about myself that have been getting in the way, whether it's subconscious, my sexuality, my health, Bugs' health. Like I feel like it's like, yes, so much is coming up this week of, literally all the shit that exists in your entire life is hitting the fan right now. But also, once it hits the fan, guess what? You're actually moving through it. It's not going to keep coming up in your life anymore. Like you've been stuck in it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a good thing.
Okay.
Which is also, for all of you listening, I don't know much about astrology. Like I don't know. The more I learn about it, the more I feel like I believe in it. But even if you don't believe in it, whatever, that's fine. But I heard that like we're in the middle of some eclipse and some Pisces full moon or new moon or something. And that September is all these things coming up for everyone, and it's releasing things and new cycles starting, but it's going to be hard and we're all going to freak out. And I'm like, okay.
We're all freaking out and it is really fucking hard.
Dystopian times. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Like politically, I'm like, okay, so maybe, I don't know. Let's everybody pray. All right, let's get into the episode.
Let us pray.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? self-centered church. Oh my gosh.
God.
Okay. Also, and I'm already fucking it up, but we're trying to keep our episodes to 20 minutes now. I'm sure it's been 15 just for me even saying all that and not even getting into it. But the reason is because, gosh, I listen to all the episodes and usually I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. Oh wow, like we know what we're talking about. Cool. But recently there was the episode on, what's the opposite of cancel culture? Like instead of canceling people who have caused harm, what do they actually need to change and grow and learn? And I couldn't even follow it. Like literally I'm listening to what I'm saying and I'm like, this is like a fire hose of information. Like there's no like pauses or like, and honestly, sometimes when I'm doing these, when we're recording these, I feel like I have so much information to get out that it is just a fire hose and I can't actually slow down and be in it and have a real conversation. So I think it's going to be better for everyone involved. The selfies, me, Katie. If we just do 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, today might be 40 because, we're just moving in the right direction. But that's the goal. We're just going to do these little bite-size episodes. Okay. I'm going to tell you about the inspiration. Don't worry, I am starting the episode. The inspiration is part of the episode. It's the intro. Okay, everybody? Don't worry. I'm not going off script again. Except that right now I am. Okay. I realized I'm bisexual. And I did not know it until TikTok told me.
Well, TikTok didn't tell you.
That's
right?
true.
TikTok presented an idea and you asked yourself if it was true.
Yeah. The algorithm knew. Because it's it like tracks how long you're looking at things. And
that's true.
So it's like TikTok is dynamic psychotherapy. I'm just kidding. It's not. All right. Let me just set the scene here. So like a lot of us, I scroll TikTok when I want to turn my brain off. Right. So I'm just like scrolling through and I noticed over time, I think this was like over days, weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks a month. I think the algorithm learns pretty quick. The algorithm started serving me women that I found way more attractive than any man I've ever seen. And I started to be like, wait, what is happening here? What? Like, what? Wait, what? And then something clicked and I was like, oh, I'm like, really, this is a legitimate attraction. And at first I was like, oh yeah, I'm attracted, but like, I don't think I'd want to like date women or marry a woman. I think this is just, I'm attracted, but not in terms of like a life partner, which I don't know what that's about. I probably have a lot to unpack. Anyone who's had this experience, feel free to reach out. Let me know. But I then got now my crush, who's a TikTok creator. This is insane hearing me say this because I've never been like this. I'm pretty sure her pronouns are she, her. And oh my God, I've been watching I followed her. That's also something I've never done. I've never followed someone specifically because they're attractive. Never. Okay. I've never hooked up with someone because I just don't. I've always considered myself demisexual, which is like you have to have an emotional connection. So like I didn't hook up with people because I wouldn't be attracted. Like I guess like I would hook up, but it would be like once there was more of a relationship. I wouldn't do like a one night stand or something just because I wouldn't have attraction. So first of all, I start following this thirst trap, which is fully clothed and it's a mask. So I'm into mask women, but I don't know. I'm still figuring it out because I don't even know all the terms and stuff. I'm trying to learn. I'm in like Reddits now to try to teach me things. Yeah. So I follow her specifically because she's hot. And just the way she moves is like, I can't breathe. And then she posted one video and it was like, I don't know, this song that I've been loving. And then just like the way that she moved, and it's literally her videos are just, she's a teacher and it's literally just showing what she's wearing, like her teacher outfit. And they're all like mask teacher outfits. They're not tight or anything, like they're not revealing, but something about the way she moved. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, started like fantasizing. And I was like, wait a second. now I understand what my friends have been saying about how they would be like, oh my God, this guy is so hot, but I know that he wouldn't be good for me. I know this is going to go nowhere. I know we're probably just going to hook up and then he's going to ghost me, but I want to so bad. And I never understood that because I'm demisexual, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have a relationship with that. I wouldn't be emotionally connected to someone like that. And then, but this girl, I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, it would be worth it for her to ghost me because at least I'd have one good experience.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, whoa, this is crazy that I'm thinking this way. And then here's the other thing is that with guys, so I've only ever been in relationships with men, and I have always not really cared much what they look like. Mm-hmm. I've dated short guys. I have dated, conventionally unattractive guys.
Can confirm.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just saying, you're not bothered.
I was not bothered because, and I remember thinking this actually with the least attractive guy I've ever dated, which sounds mean, but it's just kind of objective, right? Like you kind of, I knew, I was like, oh, he's not attractive. I also knew that there were going to be people who like judged me for being in picture, like, oh, that's who she's with, And I remember thinking, but I don't care because I love his soul and I don't care what human suit he's in. Mm-hmm. I don't care about that.
I also want to point out that Allie has also dated objectively attractive people as well.
I have,
I'm
yes.
just putting that into the universe.
And I will. No, I feel like a little schoolgirl. I'm like, oh my God.
The butterflies.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa. Oh, yeah. So I realized, the reason I haven't cared is because I'm not really attracted to men. Like I can be if I have an emotional connection with them because of that demisexualness. But with women, I get both. I get physical attraction. I get the emotional connection. And with most women, just because of, how we're socialized, there's probably more depth there for the most part. Not all men, but most men, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's my realization. And then the question started, how did I miss this? I've always supported the LGBTQ community, and I was raised in a family that was totally fine, like totally supportive of all that. Raised in a community that was supportive of that. Religion, my temple, I was raised Jewish, totally supportive of that. So I was like, how did I miss this? Also, listen to this. This is insane. I've made out with girls. I've always thought that girls were attractive, but I always looked at femme girls and I realized because I'm more femme, I like being girly girl. And so I think seeing them as beautiful was more like, ooh, that's inspiration for me almost. Or just like admiring art because there are women who are beautiful and it's not what I want to look like or a style that I emulate, but whoa, how they put that together is incredible. Or, oh my gosh, what a specimen of beauty,
Yes, truly.
And I never knew that I was bi, even though I'm like freaking making out with girls. And you know why I realized is because I was seeing myself as, this is a Captain Obvious statement, as a straight person. Yeah. I was even understanding me doing gay shit as straight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think some of it is these cultural scripts of women have almost learned to be more like men, to be successful. The man is the default, if you will, the default gender. I almost thought of me kissing girls, and I also wasn't even enjoying it. I wasn't even attracted to them. I was just doing it because it was fun and funny at like parties and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I just thought, oh, well, yeah, like girls are attractive and whatever. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything about me. But if two guys were making out at parties, that would be so different, right? Because the cultural script is different. It would be like no homo. But two girls making out, yeah, they can be straight, So anyway, that's when I learned the word heteronormativity. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to break that down because heteronormativity is one cultural script, a cultural script that we're going to focus on today. And it'll shape your awareness of yourself, of others, without you even realizing it. So, heteronormativity is the assumption, often unspoken, that heterosexuality is the normal, natural, or default way of being. And it shows up in many areas of our lives. So, cultural norms, like expecting that everyone will grow up, marry someone of the opposite sex, and have kids. Even
Almost every Disney princess movie.
Oh, yeah, totally. Katie's getting sassy if you could see her. Also, even the things we say, like asking a little girl, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Or like my bug. My friend has a male French bulldog, and it's like, oh, is that her boyfriend? And by the way, I do this too, because I'm also part of these cultural scripts, right? Also, assuming that someone's partner is the opposite sex is another way that this can show up. And laws, policies, workplace benefits that privilege hetero couples. Media, like stories, films, ads that overwhelmingly present hetero couples. So I had never seen someone that I was attracted to, though. It took being on TikTok. The algorithm bypassed the heteronormativity because, as we know about these social networks, the algorithm gives you what you want. So you're not seeing what's just out there in general. You're seeing what's being funneled to you specifically. So that was my niche. So the algorithm bypassed this heteronormativity by putting examples of women in front of me that connected with my authentic sexuality. And it gave me representation that I didn't know that I was missing, just seeing someone who I might be attracted to. So apparently, I wouldn't know, but a lot of people have a similar experience where they won't fully recognize or name their queerness until they encounter an environment or content like social media content that disrupts the assumption of heteronormativity, which is that being straight is the default.
And this is why representation is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So important.
Totally. And the other thing that I want to acknowledge is that the heteronormativity ingrains, obviously stigma, and homophobia and hate, it's a spectrum. For me, I experience this realization that I'm bi. I feel a little weird. Like I feel there's something like taboo about me, even though I don't believe that about anyone else who's queer. And I'm fine sharing it with my friends and don't feel weird, but I do feel like vulnerable talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it because we gotta name this shit. So, like I said, we're doing these little bite-sized episodes. So today we're talking about sexuality and just like my experience of it. But there's other cultural scripts too that we could talk about in the future. Talking this whole time. Is it okay? Does it sound interesting or boring? Okay, great. So how does this all relate to being self-centered? Breaking from cultural scripts, y'all. You got to do that. It's not about who you should be. It's about who you actually are, right? Being self-centered means that you're peeling back the layers of limiting beliefs of who you should be or what you should feel or what you should want or, what you should need. And it's like, wait, but what's the truth? What do I actually feel, want, and need? And how do you do that? How do you, there's like a billion ways that you can peel it back. Like I was saying earlier in this episode, going to therapy and a depth related therapy like psychodynamic therapy or somatic therapy can really help as well. It's anything that's like experiential and like really getting into the subconscious. That's a good way to do it. But also, I didn't figure this out in therapy. I figured this out because of TikTok. I didn't ignore my attraction. It's not like I knew I was bi and was trying to avoid it. It's just that it wasn't visible for me. So I think it's also like sometimes we need new contexts or new like experiences to truly see ourselves. And we've talked about this before. It's like you need a clear mirror to be able to see yourself, which could be other people. It could be seeing people like you or people you're attracted to, right? And so maybe it's about where can I go explore more about me? What could I is there anything about me that I like had this inkling that there's something there that I want to explore more, but I have this feeling of shame or this feeling of I'm weird or taboo because maybe it's going up against some default cultural script about who I should be.
It reminds me when I first moved to San Diego, I've told you guys that I was a conservative Christian.
Yeah.
And I moved to San Diego, and one of the things that I appreciated about San Diego is how much of a melting pot it is compared
It's
to
purple, not red or blue.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much diversity compared to where I had lived in Florida and in Texas, especially. And again, remembering the context that I had very strong religious beliefs, and also I had an upbringing that was very accepting of people initially. When I moved to San Diego and I had the opportunity going through my divorce to start at a gym as a independent trainer, the gym is an LGBTQ owned gym. It's a wife owned gym.
You started there
As independent, yeah. So I had worked for the YMCA for a couple of years as a trainer, as well as their assistant fitness manager for a while. And then when I went independent during COVID, the opening was posted by a wife-owned gym. And I was like, okay, well, I've never had an issue with people from the LGBTQ community. I, believe that people should have equal rights, but it's not something at that time in my life. I was like, this is not a value that I personally align with. I would never be personally in this position where, because I'm straight, and especially from a religious context, there's a lot of muddied waters. I think religion has distorted what the scripture actually has intended.
Yes.
And it's not that gay people
It was
are
about
go to hell.
don't be a pedophile.
Exactly. It's don't be a pedophile. That is correct. The translations were wrong. And the people who did the translations even came out and were like, yeah, we fucked up.
These.
Yep. But that's
We
a whole
thought
other.
kid meant same sex. Sorry.
Well, it was specifically referring to the elders committing sexual acts with young boys.
Oh.
Huh. Where do we see that in society?
What would Jesus do? Not that.
Yeah, exactly. But so they fucked up. And so because it was elder men and young boys, they translated it as same sex.
Oh.
Yeah. I learned that only very recently did I learn that. There's this like deconstruction gal I've been following that I'm
love
like,
it.
ooh, wow, so interesting. But anywho, that's a
Yeah.
tangent. So
okay.
when I came to this gym, I was like, yeah, I do believe that, everyone should have equal rights, just the same as even as a Christian, everyone should have freedom of religion. And I don't think that there should be religion in schools because that is your ability to expose yourself to all those different environments. And if I get preferential treatment, that's not fair to anyone else, and vice versa. If someone else gets preferential treatment with their religion, that's not fair to me to have my freedom of religion. So logically, I could understand that. So when I went to this gym, though, there's still parts of me that are like stuck in the old, very religious mindset of like, oh, is this bad?
Right.
Is it bad that I'm aligning myself with a gym that, supports this? And I'm like, okay, I don't think it's bad.
But I do feel weird about it.
I do feel weird about it. Exactly.
Script. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I know by values and I know by the fucking Constitution, everyone should be able to have access to these things.
And there's this important document or
I know,
something
right?
following.
And just universal rights, like it makes logical sense to me. But it takes time, right? It takes time exposing yourself to rewrite and undo those old patterns and all the old narratives that you've been fed of, oh, okay, well, according to our very small, specific section of the world and our beliefs, this, that, or the other is quote unquote bad or quote unquote different. And it's like, well, that's only one perspective. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. It just means that it's maybe not for you.
Yeah.
So, anywho, it took a few months in that environment for me to like get over that initial hurdle of moments of feeling uncomfortable simply because it wasn't what I had experienced for so long. It wasn't the norm for me. And it wasn't something that I was exposed to. It was just something I knew about. Now it's something that it's inundated and all around in every aspect of my life. My closest friends are part of the LGBTQ community. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that I would. I'm like, there's no fucking way that this isn't going to be integral to my life and that I'm not going to recognize that it's important.
Yes.
And that it's okay. and it's actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. I mean, it's literally like, I think it gets wrapped up in sex and like shame around sex and cultural scripts around sex, basically. Because
Yeah.
it's almost like for the heteronormativity, people have amnesia or just have learned because it's so default and like normalized that, oh yeah, people of opposite sex, that yeah, they can be attracted to each other. You're not thinking, oh yeah, and they might have sex or they might hook up. But when it comes to being not the default, right? Being gay, being bi, being queer, then it's like, oh, wait, that's weird because then what are they doing behind closed doors, you know?
Well, or also the thought that, oh, if I'm a dude and I have a gay friend, he must be attracted to me. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's fucking dumb. Like, are you attracted to every fucking woman that you see?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not how that works. It's just like all of the
No.
rules go
It
out
would
the
be
window.
easier if I was because then I could find someone. All I have to do is look for personality. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So, selfie, think for yourself and maybe even just take a moment and kind of feel into your body or just what have I been thinking? Like, as I'm hearing Katie and Allie talking, what is tapping me on the shoulder and saying, hey, this thing over here, don't avoid me anymore, or maybe just go explore. What are you feeling called to, or what's kind of the elephant in the room of your mind or in your body? Maybe you're even feeling some fear because it's
Yeah.
like, ooh, well, I don't want this to be true, or I don't even know what it is, but I don't want to uncover what it is because I'm scared of whatever it could be. What I want you to know is that you don't need to rush to the end of the process and be like, okay, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to find something out about myself that I don't feel comfortable with, and then I'm going to have to share it with absolutely everyone because if I don't, then that means I'm hiding. No, you get to go at your own pace. And first of all, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go explore. But if you're still listening and you're feeling like there is this elephant in the room in your mind, then there's something there that probably does want to be explored. And so that might mean putting yourself in other places or having different experiences with different types of people or just trying different things on. And you don't have to push yourself to get to the end of the process right away or at all. You also never have to share this with anyone. It's really just about learning about yourself and acknowledging your truth. When have you dismissed or minimized a gut feeling because it didn't match the default? What feels authentic to me versus what feels like default mode or the mode of who I should be or what I should like or what I should even be exploring and interested in and curious about. But yeah, you don't have to jump to the end and you never have to share with anyone. We just want to uncover your true self because that's how you become self-centered. How can you
Yeah.
center you if you don't know what takes care of you? Right? And just remember that these things can become so normalized that we don't even know that they're there. So it is going to be these like little inklings. It's probably not going to be this obvious thing. And also, I just want to validate that it's really normal for our identities, our self-understanding to shift over time. So that's fine. There's things you're never going to know about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't learn everything, but it's just if I have this feeling in me that's like, oh, yeah, that thing, that's the thing that is really asking me to look in its direction. And maybe this is a little support I need to do that. And that's it. The overall message that I want you to take from this is that if you're nervous about exploring or naming something that you've realized about yourself out loud, or you're worried about how your relationships or your community would respond, just know that centering yourself only means honoring your truth to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to share it at all. You don't have to share it widely if you do decide to share. You are not weird. You are not a freak. You are an incredible facet of humanity. And the more that we can explore these parts of ourselves that the cultural scripts don't honor and often silence or erase or threaten, I think the better overall for our culture, because it's like, no, we're here, we exist, and I matter. So be kind to yourself, don't judge yourself, love yourself, and be gay if you're gay.
Love it.
All right. We love y'all. Hope you liked our, yay, it was a shorter episode. It wasn't 20, 30 minutes, but
I think it might have been close-ish to 35.
trending in the right direction.
Trending in the right direction for sure.
Okay, great. All right, bye.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at self-centered.pod or connect with us at self-centeredthepod@gmail.com.
Stay self-centered, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.